After 1,511 days living full-time on the ocean, it's easy for us to forget that our normal can be someone else's exceptional. By creating these videos every week, we hope it goes some way to explaining our rather questionable life choices, but just occasionally we receive a lot of interest around a particular topic. And so this week, we're going to dive right in and answer your questions about what life is like living full-time on the Big Blue.
Good morning, it's another beautiful day here and we've decided it's about time we answered some of your questions. We get questions all the time on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, and yeah, we want to make sure everyone gets the answers because no doubt if one person asks, a bunch of you are thinking about it. So the plan is we're going to jump in the dinghy, we're going to head to what we think is a little dive mooring ball just outside the bay here, and while we're answering your questions we might get a little bit distracted because we are hoping to find some humpback whales. But, you know, we can't promise anything, let's just see how it goes.
All right, so the first question that we have had from so many people this week is, how is the new Highfield? What do you reckon?
I mean, it is something special. We've been getting used to it, to be honest, because it handles so differently to the AB.
It does. It is a very similar size and it's got the raised transom because we've got a long leg on the outboard. So it should be quite similar, but the bow is slightly buried. So it's sort of a little bit more twitchy, but we can adjust the outboard and lift it a tiny bit, which gives us more control. But then it's kind of like we're bouncing on top of the water.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Well, we'll do some kind of deep dive in it at some point. But yeah, essentially it's like the boat wants to sit on top of the water or it wants to be really pointy and like know where it's going.
Yeah.
And if we do tilt the outboard leg, we get some incredible cattails. So you can see it's coming a mile off.
The cool thing, I guess, is it does this.
There.
I'm demonstrating the wonderful feature of our new dinghy, which I think we've repurposed as soon as we've got it.
That's not how you use a cleat.
No, but it works really well because if I didn't have it hooked around there, that would be underneath the boat. And to get the line back, we'd be like climbing underneath the front. And so I figured if I just hook it around there, it's like, oh, easily retrievable. It's not like there's a lot of wind and a lot of force. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. That's kind of the motto. Okay, so now that we're settled in and just literally Indy's just there somewhere, we are just going to bob around and hope that a giant mammoth of a mountain just emerges from the ocean.
There is a turtle over there. It's quite a smaller mounted than a humpback whale, but it's just like 20 meters away.
Oh, yes. You might not have seen it.
Imagine what a turtle looks like, and it's just there. There you go.
Thrilling as that viewing might be, we should probably get on and answer some of your questions.
Okay, question one. Nannies.
Question number one.
Nanny engines.
Nanny engines, okay.
How economical are they? How good are they? Do you regret it? All that chat.
I mean, okay, they've changed everything for us, and I know that sounds like a marketing statement, but it isn't. We're not paid to say that. It has been a huge improvement to Indioko. So we used to have Yanmars, 4JH4Es, for those who are geeky about it. They were aged, they were heavily used, and when they eventually died, we moved over to these beautiful, shiny Nannies. The N450s, we're still getting all the information on them, but they start every time when you press a button.
Yeah.
Which is just insane. Like, there's no wait. You just press it and bang, they come to life.
They've been so reliable.
Bang
Yeah, not bang.
Not bang. Rumble. I don't know what the sound would be. So they just work in terms of efficiency, which is the question, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of efficiency, as I say, we haven't got all the numbers nailed down yet, but our rough estimations right now. So we're seeing around half a gallon an hour, which is double the efficiency of what we were seeing on the Yanmars.
Yeah, they're basically twice as good.
Twice as good. I think they're more than twice as good,
Because
to be
how many
honest.
hours have we put on them now? We've had them, what, 8 months?
8 months, and we have put a fair number on. We've put about 140 on each,
Yeah.
give or take, 150. And basically, as you might have seen in a recent episode, we pretty much ran our main tanks dry and had to top them up. But our plan is that we're going to head over and top up the tanks to the brim, and then we'll keep more of a close eye on it. So we'll match the exact hours that we put the full tanks in, and then we'll be able to tell you when we run them dry again, or at least halfway or something. I don't quite know yet. We'll work that out. Okay, so the next question is quite a good one, actually, because someone asked us, do you need to make an appointment to see Zora at the Annapolis Boat Show? So what is Zora? Do you need an appointment to see her, it, they, him, them?
Okay, so Zora, you might have heard us talk about this, is our navigation system on the boat. But it has grown arms and legs. It now does so much more than just navigation and kind of brings together every single system across our entire boat. So we have partnered with the people who make this, iNav4U. We're going to be at the Annapolis Boat Show with them this week, and we're launching Zora 2.0. So if you want to come and see this incredible system that we have on board, you can just come along to their booth, get your hands on it, we can show you around. And in fact, if you turn up to the booth, you can be in with a chance to win a free one. So why would you not? So yeah, we'll be there most of the weekend. Come drop by, say hi, and see the really cool thing.
Yeah, it really is as cool as Bernie says. Like, it's taken over our boat. It's just amazing, honestly. You need to get yourselves over there. We'll probably do some more video content on Zora later. Probably after Annapolis, I think we'll try and do some kind of specific video on it, because there's an awful lot to unpack about it and what it does, and it kind of transforms the way you sail. And actually, it should transform everybody's boat and the way they sail. So yeah, more to come on that. Stay tuned.
So a lot of you have noticed in the last few episodes that we have an ongoing issue with our autopilot. When we were leaving Roraka back in the Tuamotus, we were a little bit early to the pass, and we had to sit around waiting for the tide to calm down. And we took the opportunity to try and recalibrate our compass, thinking that that might have solved things. We'll just be going along, and then suddenly the compass just thinks that we're going in a different direction. And so the autopilot then gets confused, and we end up just sort of wiggling around all over the place. We thought we had fixed it, or at least improved it. And then when we sailed here to Tahiti, we discovered that we hadn't. So yes, the problem is not fixed. And I nominate Ian to describe more of what the problem might, I was going to say is, but we don't really know. What might the problem be?
The first problem is answering what is the question. Yeah, okay. So our autopilot is not original. We actually replaced it back in Grenada. I think it was Grenada. However, we replaced it with a second-hand autopilot, which we got from Facebook Marketplace from a boat in the anchorage.
As you do.
As you do. And I don't think it worked very well when he sold it to us, and we've been kind of making it work. So we have done, like, we crossed the Pacific Ocean with it. We crossed through Central America. We did a decent chunk of sailing on it. However, what it does is it goes in a straight line, and it's all very happy, very happy, very happy. And then when you look away or get distracted for 5 seconds, it goes, I'm going to go right, and just turns off to some random direction. And it's not always right. It goes port, it goes starboard, it goes 2 degrees, it goes 20 degrees. It just goes everywhere.
There's like no continuity.
There is no rhyme or reason. So what we've been doing is, it sounds very luxurious. Oh, our autopilot is broken, woe is us. But in fact, when you're crossing oceans, when you're crossing the distances we're sailing every day, you kind of rely on the autopilot, because it might sound dangerous, but you don't sit at the helm the whole time. Maybe you're soloing, so you have to handle the lines. Maybe you're checking on something and repairing it to make sure it doesn't cause any more damage. Or you might just be taking 5 minutes to run to the loo or make a drink. That's when we use our autopilot. And if it has this habit of going squirrel, then it could be very dangerous. So the reasons behind it are still a bit vague. I think it might be something to do with the Fluxgate compass, which sounds very technical. You might remember we actually installed a Fluxgate capacitor, we called it that, compass, in behind one of our bathroom heads. However, I've swapped that out as well, and it didn't seem to fix it. So now that we've done the compass replacement, we did the recalibration like 2 or 3 times now, and it's not got much logic to it. The things that remain are either going to be the rudder sensor, which decides how much it's actually turning the boat, or the brain itself. And I'm fairly sure it's the brain itself. So it's an old Raymarine SPX30, if you want to geek out on that. And the newer models, like the Evolution 400, I think is our replacement equivalent, is way smarter. It should be able to do much better tracking with the weather conditions. And ultimately, we'd be able to talk to it easier with things like Zora or even the Raymarine devices that they make. So issue is they cost like $4,000. So
yeah, so now we know what we're saving up for.
That's like the next 5 Christmas presents, I think. We're struggling on that front. So for the time being, it might be that you see us on the helm a bit more.
Concentrating a lot more.
It might be harder to chat sometimes, and we'll certainly look more sleep deprived because it means that you can't really take time out in between your watches. So yeah, stay tuned. More on that to come, I think, although probably not very soon because whilst it is a high priority, it's like number 8 in the high priority list because believe it or not, there are things that are even more important than that coming up. Okay, so the next question I particularly liked. It came from someone who, along with quite a few other people actually, have joined us more recently, but have chosen to go right back to the start and binge watch every episode. The reason I've loved it is they're leaving little kind of breadcrumbs of questions along the way, and I get to re-watch those episodes and kind of relive it all, which is really nice. I don't know if you can do the same.
Well, I have, but I heard the word breadcrumbs and I got munchy, so I brought snacks.
Yay! Okay, so we'll answer this question whilst munching crisps. The question was around our solar. So if you remember back in St. Martin, we installed solar the first round.
Yeah, so that was back in 2021. We put 8 panels? 8 panels of 175 watts of up on our hardtop. So they were the flexible panels which we glued down because that was what we could manage at the time. We knew that we were going to build out our davits and make space for more, but
we didn't have the money to build the davits.
No, exactly.
I don't think. Was it that way around? I think it was that way around.
So then that was fine, but it's kind of like the goldfish bowl where whatever solar you have, you end up always wanting more. So finding ourselves back in St. Martin where it's easy to order stuff in without having to pay import duty the following year, we were like, well, let's just take this opportunity and throw some more on there. So then we put another, 800 watts on the back.
800 watts on top, yeah.
In solid panels, which are definitely more efficient.
Yeah.
But because they are tipped down slightly, they don't always get as much sun during the day until like later in the afternoon when the sun is sort of past that midpoint. You're stealing my crisps because I'm talking too much. So yes, overall we have 2.2 kilowatts of solar, which does us very well. On sunny days like this, we will be fully charged by lunchtime. And the next thing really will be to up our battery bank so that we can actually like store it for longer on the cloudy days. Okay, while we are chatting to you, we are doing our best to keep our eyes on the horizon and look around. Can't promise anything, but way in the distance ahead of us, there are some pretty hefty splashes, and a lot of the whale tour boats that run locally have all run out that way to see them. So, yeah, just saw another one.
Only issue is there is also a very, very large rain cloud working its way towards us, so we're going to have to speed this up.
Yeah, it's going to be a race. Which gets here first, the rain or the whale? It's the question everybody wants to know. So, back on topic, we've had a few questions about the scrubber that we shared with you a few weeks ago. Tons of people have come on to our shop, they have ordered them, they have now received them, and we're getting loads of messages from people saying that they are working really well and they are helping them to get their boats clean, which is awesome because it's a really useful tool. However, the question is about our store and online stuff, and all of that is Ian, so I'm just going to spin the camera and let him talk to you about that. So someone was asking, can they order it from anywhere in the world?
Okay, so the scrubber can be ordered from anywhere in the world, yes. There's different shipping rates apply because we don't hold stock of all that stuff. Like, we've tried to make our online store less about t-shirts and hats and more about like useful stuff as well. So we have all sorts of things on there, from the scrubber, which ships directly from the factory in Taiwan. And then we've got things like water makers and Timo life jackets and things like that, which are all available on the shop, and you can place your order and you'll just see what the shipping cost will be at the end of the process. So when we first put this scrubber up, we could only really work out how much it would cost to ship to the UK and the US. Since then, we've managed to get together a big old spreadsheet from people, and we've worked out exactly how much things are going to cost to get out the door. So yeah, the scrubber, I've been blown away by it. I honestly, like half a year we spent trying to figure out a way to get one of these, to show it off, to try and show you what it could do. And yeah, you guys have come out in force. I think it might be one of our better performing videos ever, showing you what it does. And then, yeah, a whole bunch of you have purchased them, and we've been hearing from people as they've been landing, which is really nice. As people are starting to use them, they're like reporting back, saying, this thing works amazingly. I don't have to work very hard. I just, one breath and I just sit there and glide down the hull as it cleans them up for me.
It's the best.
So yeah, we're hoping to do a bit more with the guys who make the scrubber, Fairway. and maybe bring a couple of their other products to you as well. Because the more we can show them that you guys are interested, the more we can like request access to more of what they offer. So fingers crossed, you'll see a whole pile more cleaning type products from them. And like I said, a whole bunch of like boat safety and cruiser kit and that kind of stuff is all available on the shop.
Yeah. All right, that rain cloud is coming closer, so we are going to rush through these last couple of questions. Somebody asked, how can we have spent so long in French Polynesia? I know that when we were in the Caribbean, we would have to rush through a little bit because of visa restrictions, and we would spend like maybe 1 month or 3 months in somewhere, and then we would be forced to move on. And a lot of people come to French Polynesia, they're given 90 days on a visa, and then they have to leave. We had heard from people before we crossed the Pacific that this country was just amazing and that we would definitely want more than 3 months. So when we were in Panama, we applied for a long stay visa, which gave us a whole year to explore these islands and atolls. And I am so glad that we did. It is something that you have to do before you arrive in the country. The system is slightly complicated and it seems to change every year. But
that's why I have a brainy.
Say that again.
So that's why I have a brainy. You always have to have a primary school teacher. An elementary teacher should be part of your crew because she'll handle it all. She does all the complicated paperwork. And then I just turn up and go, I'm the captain. Yes, nice to meet you. Sign my name. Yes, as if I know what the form is I'm signing. Thankfully, Brainy does all the hard work.
Yes, I am definitely the organised one of the pair. So yes, all of the bureaucracy comes across my desk. But we've mostly got things sorted. And when we got here, we realised that we could actually extend our visa for a second year. We applied for that and it took ages. We did actually hear recently that it has been granted. So we are allowed to be here legally right now, because if you've been counting, you know it's been more than 12 months. So yes, we're very grateful for all the people that came cruising here before us and told us how wonderful it was, because it meant that we could plan a little bit in advance. A lot of people who are coming from Europe don't need to go through any of this paperwork, because as part of the EU, this is French Polynesia, and so it just counts as they can stay as long as they like. Unfortunately, with Brexit, we don't come under that ruling anymore, so we had to go through all of the forms and the paperwork. But we have had 1.5 years here, and I am absolutely not complaining. It has just been absolutely incredible. We are so grateful for the time that we've had. But there's so many more places to go, so yay for more paperwork coming up, I guess.
All right, I've just seen the mother of all splashes just out there by that cat. So I think we should drop the line and buzz out there and maybe we'll just answer the questions on the way.
Point out my easy retrieval system. Whoopah.
So dodgy. So dodgy.
Okay, whales, here we come.
Should probably start the outboard.
Don't know where the mooring line's gone.
What did you say?
It's fine, I found it. I was just realising that we were starting the engine and I wasn't paying attention to where the mooring line was, so it may have gone right under the boat.
We're just running it over.
It's fine.
It's fine. All right, so we are going to race towards the giant rain cloud, a bit like bull by the horns, and we're going to go find this whale, because there's at least 2 other boats there, and I definitely saw like a big splash.
Oh, I'm so excited.
And that cat's heading there too, so we're in a race. Okay, here we go.
Okay, a bit windy, you might not be able to hear us, but somebody asked, what did we do with our pearls from the pearl farm that we got just a couple of weeks ago? Do you know what we've done with them?
I have no idea where they are. Like, they're too small and I lose small things unless there's screws or connectors, so I don't know what we did with them.
I have kept them safe, and the goal was to make some jewellery, but that hasn't happened yet. We maybe don't have the skills or the tools, so if you have ideas, let us know, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, well, we tried to show you some whales. We actually raced all the way out to try and find them. And then, well, that happened. Basically, we got absolutely hammered in rain and started getting completely drenched. And then the whales went deep.
Yeah, so it counts we saw them, but don't feel bad you didn't miss out, because they basically swam away as soon as we got there.
Yeah, we'll keep our eyes out. We'll try and show you more whales. We'll try and find some more whales, you know, just as you do. And then we'll catch them on camera and actually share them with you once we figure out how to keep up with a whale. Anyway, we need to carry on the questions though, because we're not quite finished. We had a few people get in touch and say they saw the colouring book advert that we made. And despite being a teacher, you spelt it wrong.
Yes, I did have a bunch of you asking, did you spell colouring wrong? No, we're just very sensitive to the needs of our community. there are 2 separate covers. There is a cover for the US audience and there is a cover for the UK audience, and we are shipping them out separately. So don't worry, you will have the word spelled however you would like it to be spelled
Not
in
quite,
the version that you would like it.
Just within reason, I think we can all say that the OUR spelling is correct.
It's correct.
And then we're going to do the OR spelling for anyone else. I don't think we can start. Are you going to do it in like Hebrew?
Yeah, we need to like get some translations of the colouring book made.
I mean, it was cheap.
Priced per word.
Exactly.
Colouring book. And the last question, just before we round this up today, is when are we going to see more diving? Well, we have been doing as much diving as we possibly can. As you know, there are some incredible scenes around here, some amazing dive sites. But we also have an extra tool now.
Yeah, we got really lucky. Coming back to civilization like this meant we could get parts. So if you remember in our shark dive episode, which actually we're really proud of, but not many people watched. I don't know why that is, but anyway, we made that shark episode. It nearly didn't happen, all because of one tiny little rubber gasket thing that blew out on our dive compressor. And we 3D printed a replacement and it works.
Worked perfectly.
It's still working, however, not perfectly.
Okay.
It's mostly working. It allows us to fill tanks, but it doesn't let us do the drainage and stuff that we're supposed to do. So now that we're back in the real world, the guys at Coltree and their US distributor were able to supply us with not only the little rubber gasket part we needed, but the whole assembly. So as soon as I get this fitted, it'll make our diving much easier and we'll be able to do a lot more of it. So I'm really excited because there's some really fun diving to be done here. Lots of turtles and rays and that kind of stuff. There's even like sunken shipwrecks, airplanes. There's airplanes we can dive on. And then the whole of French Polynesia is like a diving mecca. So if we can get in some more remote dives, because that's why we have a compressor, then we will absolutely be sharing them with you.
Yeah,
you might get
sure.
bored. There'll be too much underwater. You'll be like, oh, not another whale.
Isn't that the dream? Okay, we are going to stop there. We need to go and dry off and get ourselves sorted out, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. And hopefully you enjoyed getting the answers to some of those questions. Like, if you have more, just fire them in the comments or send us a message. Obviously, guys, on Patreon, we love you to bits, so we answer you straight away. And yeah, we'll try and tell you everything we know about the way we cruise and where we are and what we're doing.
Next week, we are going to be at the Annapolis Boat Show. So if you are going to be there, check out our website for our schedule and where to find us, red-seas.com/Annapolis, and that will tell you everything you need to know. And the plan is that next Sunday, we are going to come to you live from the boat show. So I think that is 1 p.m. on Sunday Eastern time, whatever time we normally release. We're in a different time zone, so we don't really have that.
We're going to try and stick to the normal release time. I think you're right. It's 1 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, that's what we're going to aim for anyway. We will be doing a bunch of stuff on social, so keep an eye out on our Instagram, on our Facebook to see what's happening. And yeah, we will see you on the boat show.
See you there, guys. Start singing in whale.
Woo!
I shall do a rain dance. No, wait, the opposite. I don't want to do a rain dance.